Okay, so how does a country, a tiny country you can barely even see on a world map, manage to go head to head with an agricultural superpower like the United States? It sounds kind of crazy, right? But it's actually happening. So today, we're going to dive into the incredible story of Dutch farming.
All right, first, let's just wrap our heads around the scale here. You've got the United States, and then you have this little patch of land. That's the Netherlands. To put it into perspective, the US is 270 times bigger. The whole country could fit inside the state of Maryland with room to spare. So seriously, how on earth does a nation with basically no land even begin to compete?
Well, they compete with this, and it's an absolutely mind-blowing fact. Despite being so tiny, the Netherlands is the world's #2 agricultural exporter by value. The only country ahead of them? The US. We're talking billions upon billions of dollars in food exports every single year. That's not a typo. It's a full-on agricultural revolution. So what in the world is their secret?
Well, the answer is pretty simple, actually. They made a radical shift in strategy. The Dutch looked at the map and said, okay, we're never going to win the land game, so they decided to compete on something else entirely, intelligence. They basically made a bet to prioritize brains over sheer size.
So what does that look like? Well, instead of endless open fields, they took farming indoors. We're talking about these gigantic, almost sci-fi greenhouses. And look, these are not your grandma's greenhouses. They are perfectly tuned ecosystems. You've got AI constantly monitoring and tweaking everything, the light, the temperature, the humidity, to create the absolute perfect growing conditions, 24/7, all year round. The whole idea behind this is something called precision agriculture. And honestly, the concept is super simple when you think about it. Just use technology and data to give every single plant exactly what it needs right when it needs it. Not a drop more, not a drop less. It is all about 100% efficiency.
And the tech that makes this happen, it's just incredible. So they use hydroponics. That means they're growing plants in nutrient-packed water, no soil needed. You have that AI we mentioned, managing the climate, getting the light and heat just right. Precision irrigation systems give each plant water drop by drop. And then you've got robotic arms harvesting everything without getting tired. It's like a perfect symphony of technology, all working together.
Okay, so what does all this high-tech innovation actually get you? Well, this is where the story goes from just being impressive to being, well, kind of unbelievable.
Let's talk about water first, because they use hydroponics and literally recycle every single drop. These Dutch farms use up to 95% less water than regular farming. Just let that sink in for a second. In a world where we're seeing droughts everywhere, a number like that isn't just revolutionary, it's absolutely essential.
Okay, what about pesticides? Well, when you're farming inside a completely sealed, controlled greenhouse, pests just aren't really a problem, right? So this level of control means they've been able to cut their pesticide use by almost 90%. And that, of course, means cleaner, safer food for all of us. But honestly, the most jaw-dropping stat might be the yield, how much food they can actually grow. By taking this tech and literally stacking it on top of itself in vertical farms, they can grow over 300 times the amount of food on the exact same patch of land. And the kicker, it doesn't matter if it's snowing or scorching hot outside, they are totally independent of the weather. So here's the big takeaway. What we're really seeing here is a fundamental shift. We're moving away from the old model of farming that depends on having tons of land, tons of water, and good weather, to a new model that's all about technology, efficiency, and controlled environments. It's just a completely different way of looking at food production. But, this amazing technology doesn't just appear out of nowhere. There's a powerful engine driving all of this innovation. So let's take a look at the brains behind this whole operation.
Right at the heart of it all is one single place, Wageningen University and Research. Now, this place is widely seen as the #1 agricultural research hub in the entire world. A good way to think of it, it's basically the Silicon Valley, but for food.
And the way they operate is really the key to their success. The folks at Wageningen aren't just stuck in some ivory tower lab. No, their scientists are right there, in the greenhouses, working side by side with the farmers. They're constantly testing, tweaking, and figuring out how to scale up the next big thing for everyday use. It's this incredible feedback loop between research and real-world farming that just supercharges innovation.
And all of this expertise has led them to dominate another kind of surprising area, seeds. Get this, the Netherlands produces more than a third of all the vegetable seeds that are traded around the world. So yeah, there's a really good chance that the tomato on your sandwich or the lettuce in your salad, no matter where you are, actually got its start as a tiny Dutch seed.
So, when you put it all together, what do you have? You have a story that started out as one small country's clever strategy to survive, and it's turned into a potential blueprint for the rest of the world. It really is a tiny country with a massive vision for the future of food. And maybe that's the ultimate lesson here. What the Dutch model really proves is that the most important resource for feeding our future, it's not more land, it's innovation. It's about our ability to think differently, to use technology in smart ways, and to figure out how to get so much more from so much less. And that leaves us with one last really big question. There's no doubt the Dutch have created an amazingly efficient system for themselves, a small, wealthy country. But can this model, which needs a lot of technology and a lot of investment, be adapted and scaled up to help feed the whole world? You know, a world with nearly 10 billion people? That's the real challenge, and the whole world is watching to see what happens next.